What is the secret weapon Gendry is building for Arya in the latest episode of Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones is back, baby! After almost 2 years of being on ice. Sunday night kicked off the Season 8 premiere of the fantasy show, and fans could not get enough. Among all the reunions, the reveals, and the ridiculous Euron moments,
I was hoping we could talk in private.
there was one small detail that may have larger implications for how the rest of the series plays out, and it involves Arya, Gendry, and a set of blueprints. Obviously, if you haven't watched the Season 8 premiere of Game of Thrones and don't want to be cursed with all knowledge of everything that is happening everywhere, like Bran the Three-Eyed Raven, then it's time for you to click on out of this video because we are going to spoil some pretty important stuff. Still here? Great. Now, in the Season 8 opener, among the many heartfelt reunions in Winterfell was one between everyone's favorite merry murderess, Arya Stark, and the Baratheon bastard blacksmith Gendry. Now, the last time the two saw each other is after they parted ways in Season 3 when Gendry decided to hang with the Brotherhood without banners, and Arya found herself in the company of the Hound. But after Arya spent some time training in Braavos with the Faceless Men and then going on a magical murder tour while Gendry was mocked with countless rowing memes, the two finally reunited in Sunday's Season 8 episode.
You look good.
Thanks.
After some cute back and forth bordering on milady territory, Gendry is given the schematics to a special weapon that Arya would like him to build. While special weapons are nothing new for Gendry, in the same scene, we literally see him hand off a freshly made dragonglass axe to the Hound. The blueprints for Arya's weapon look a little more ornate than the typical sword or staff. Taking a closer look at the schematics she hands him, we can see the weapon has two pointy ends and can split apart in two, which reminds us a little of how Marvel Comics' Daredevil has a billy club weapon that can split in half to form two batons. While one side is clearly labeled dragon glass, the other side is not. However, it appears to be another type of blade or pointy end. Now, this lack of clarification has fans online already speculating that it could either be flames or Valyrian steel. Now, as cool as Valyrian steel would be, unfortunately, we don't think this is the case. If you recall from Season 4, according to Tywin Lannister, there are 3 living blacksmiths who can shape Valyrian steel, and he had to send for one from Volantis to break down Ned Stark's sword ice into 2 swords, Brienne's Oathkeeper and Joffrey's Widow's Wail. And as good as Gendry is with the blacksmithing and the weapon making, we don't think he's had any special training in working with Valyrian steel. Plus, the material is so exotic and rare that in order to get a Valyrian blade on Arya's new weapon, she'd probably have to use the steel from her dagger, and we know she kept that. So what could be the tip of this weapon, and ultimately what will it be used for? Thankfully, the folks over at Vanity Fair may have gotten a few details right from the source. On a recent episode of their Still Watching podcast, Game of Thrones weapons master Tommy Dunn revealed a Season 8 weapon that sounds a lot like a new piece Arya commissioned. There is one creation in Season 8 that is absolutely phenomenal. It'll be a showstopper that was great to finish, it was great to make, great to design, and that it was able to be reverse engineered and made into 2 different items. 2 different items, you say? That does sound like Arya's schematic, and with her super honed assassin skills with both blades and staffs, having a weapon that can convert into whatever she wants in the moment is a pretty sweet plan. Now, we know from the Season 8 trailer that Arya is going to be facing off against something or someone in the halls of Winterfell. Later, we see what might be one of the pointy ends of her new staff as we see her holding up a dragonglass blade in one shot. Then afterwards, we see her whipping a weapon around that might be the staff. So what could she be using this weapon for, and how will this play into her skill set? Well, we have a theory. Remember when Jon and his band of brothers ventured north of the Wall to capture the White last season? Not only did they capture one, they also learned that by killing a White Walker, i.e. one of the generals, this led to all his turned whites to shatter instantly. Remember, Arya is not a soldier, she is an assassin. So what if she is building this weapon to specifically target White Walkers? The fact that the weapon is using dragonglass and has a mystery element that could potentially be flames or Valyrian steel, it seems clear to us that she is prepping to fight the White Walkers. Now, however Arya finds out that killing White Walkers destroys whites, whether by taking out a White Walker herself or being told, we really hope to see our girl be one of the few who lives long enough to stick the pointy end into the frosty blue-eyed enemy. In fact, we're betting once Arya lays eyes on the Night King, she'll be adding him to the top of her list. But what do you folks think? Will Arya's new weapon be a game changer in the Great War? Will she use it to kill the Night King? And were you more excited to see Jon Snow ride a dragon or Bran stare down Jaime Lannister? Let's discuss. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and mash that little bell to get notified every time we go live with a show or drop a new video. And if this isn't enough Game of Thrones for you, make sure to check out our Game of Thrones after show, All Kings Considered, live Mondays at noon Pacific on Nerdist YouTube and Geek and Sundry's Twitch.